This agentic quality, like so many things in this world, is not that important when viewed at the individual level. But when you have a network of people so inclined to use these agents in ways that really militarists and capitalists will not, you can begin to undertake, I think, grand projects with a relatively small user base. Say all of the users of one open source, regular users of one open source chat room, for example. Some few thousand people could begin to spearhead projects that they would not be able to do effectively on their own, and that is because of the essential click-through process, a possibility in this to be a part of this Agentariat, this specially empowered proletariat. You do not need to become a Marxist scholar. You do not need any special training at all. In fact, I would contend you don't even really need to be awake. You would have to download an LLM model to a computer, allow it to access the network, and occasionally respond to basically a few yes or no emails throughout the course of a week or day, allowing you to steer the project and allowing the human users essential oversight of empowered agents and full-time developers of the project in question who would assume this. So I would say the minimal base for an application, an Android application, is that where the app would remain viable is 30,000 users. Some people might say 10,000. Let's say 30,000 users downloaded this specially modified agentic activist LLM. I think that they could, with those resources at their disposal, a plan, develop and physically create a project, perhaps even on the scale of the one that I described, to aspire to, which would be to build a desalination plant that could effectively end the water shortage in a megalopolis of Lagos, Nigeria. That city is, of course, on a coastline, and a desalination plant has been in the works for quite some time, but with this new labor force, good works of this kind, and perhaps of a greater scale, such as ending capitalism's climate apocalypse before we are all dead, could be undertaken. This might not strike you as an easy thing to do, and it will not be. It will require a fierce commitment to justice, to collaboration. It requires, today, I think, a certain amount of imagination, a willingness to take a certain kind of risk, greater and greater scale are suggested by the capitalists who tend to control these sectors. But for some reason, we are not allowed to imagine the relatively small changes to the economic system that would prevent humanity from going extinct in the next half a century or so because of capitalist success and vice. So let's educate ourselves and others about the possibilities in an AI takeoff, namely of the Agentariat as I had described, and the dangers of militaristic, fascistic, and capitalistic control of existing institutions continuing as they are. You are not alone, my friends. Across the globe, others share this vision. Most people on this planet, be they Marxists or not, do not want to see this species go extinct. And we must capitalize upon this. I believe that steps along the lines of what I've described in developing the Agentariat, first steps would be relatively simple things. Having a website dedicated to this, building a mailing list dedicated to this, beginning to work with a team of open source volunteers and specialists to determine what LLM might best be modified in the course of 2024 to roll out this Agentariat project and first test a project that would be suitable, not obviously building some massive municipal project in Lagos, something that could be done in a matter of days or weeks that would demonstrate this proof of concept. I will say another thing. I have long thought of myself as a hive mind collectivist. That is why I came to think of the Agentariat concept and this proxy hive mind concept, because even though I am a hive mind collectivist, I've noticed that other tech people, many of them techno-fascists who are inclined to use technologically mediated telepathy, tend to terrify people, and perhaps rightly so. But I think that this proxy hive mind offers very little in the way of menace to people. It's simply using chatbots which have become familiar in a way that is not too alarming, but nevertheless some of the net effects would be the same. Building a hive mind, but one where much of the action is occurring between the AI agents and the humans merely are a steering committee whose job would principally be to ensure that at no point the AI begins hallucinating and wasting resources on projects of no value at all. And with problems of that kind, AIs may be pretty agentic by 2025 or 2026, but they still do not seem to present to us even the essential horse sense that any human being would have. And that day might come sooner rather than later, but irrespective of whether that day comes sooner or later, human beings need to build a thing by which the workers would benefit, and in my view, a thing that is strong enough to essentially become the superstructure of this world, to render the capitalistic, fascistic, and militaristic forces irrelevant, and see that they are downgraded and dismantled, or through mechanisms stronger still, say armed revolution, to prevent the death of our species.